pages, guys. This is it. This is the video that you've been waiting for, maybe, and I've been waiting for. I've been dreaming of doing this video for a while, but I thought, getting 100 subs might be the perfect opportunity to celebrate and make this video together, because I did some takes on it earlier and just let the idea go. Now, guys, if you really want to get straight to the point, you don't want to listen to me have an intro talk and all that stuff, we're going to do a talk through of Gardens of the Moon, the first chapter and the prologue. If you just want to jump straight to the point, because I'm going to talk for a while, this is going to be an intro and stuff like that, but if you just want the meat and potatoes, jump straight to the point, be on the lookout for this page. Either I'll make a timestamp later, but be on the lookout for when I get to this page later, and you'll be able to see it, the little mini thumbnail when you move the mouse over wherever it is in the video. I'm going to go through all this intro stuff and talk about things that I think are important before we start. But if you just want to get straight to the point and down to the meat and potato things, be on the lookout for this page. But I'm going to go all the way back now. Before we get there, for those of you who want to cut to the chase and just get to the info and to the read through or walk through or talk through is a good word, and that's how you do it. So with that said, for those of you who want to hang out a little bit and I want to go through this document as well, the PowerPoint, because the person who made this PowerPoint is an absolute legend. And I want to talk about that. But before that, before we actually delve into this document, this beast and behemoth of love for Malazan Book of the Fallen, this is like the best fan resource that exists. I first want to say thank you to each and all of you. And this is not beer or champagne. This is 7-Up Zero. Thank you to each and all of you who have subscribed. Because we have 100 subscribers now, and we went way past that even from when I announced this, I'm making this video. I'm making the first chapter of Gardens of the Moon, and these videos are going to be called Talk Through, basically, chapter 1 for 100 subs. And I'm really grateful for you guys, and a special shout out for especially everyone who has subscribed, special shout out for each and every one of you out there. Special shout out for everyone who will subscribe in the future. Special shout out for everyone who has ever commented and who has ever liked. And finally, one special shout out for 2 individuals who've really been like super nice, encouraging, and very active. I really appreciate you, and I hope these kind of subscribers that I really notice, I hope the number of you grows, because I really appreciate it when I start noticing and recognizing your names. And the 2 shout outs I want to do is No Name 3609. Cheers. And C White HR. Cheers. Really appreciate your comments. Really, I appreciate everyone's comments when you comment, but especially those 2 guys are like, it just feels real good, and it's very warming. And you've been really nice and supportive, and everyone has. So many good comments, so many good interactions, such a good fan base. That says something about the series. And I'm also telling you, like, this is the first take. This is what I do with the channel. Right now, I have like a project of shorts. I want to pump out shorts every day because I think it's so much fun. But everything I do basically is, it's just one take, because I want things to be authentic. I don't want to put a lot of time into it because I don't have a lot of time. So I just want to do something, get the idea out, and let people enjoy it. So that's basically about the channel. And one final thing about the channel before we continue. This is chapter 1 for 100 subscribers. I'm open to the idea of doing, let's see here. I'm open to the idea, you see the chapters here, of doing like, for the next 100 subscribers, maybe I'll do chapter 2. And I'm open for thinking about that even further. But okay, right now I can promise you guys this. If I get up to 200 subscribers, I'll cover chapter 2 as well. And chapter 2 is a Siege of Pale. Okay, so that's going to be freaking awesome. I'm giving you multiple ways to get there, though. So either 200 subscribers for this time, or I get 100 likes on this video, or 100 comments. Sounds crazy. You're not allowed to do multiple comments. That doesn't count. So there are three options, but the best way would probably be 200 subs. So if you're listening to this and you haven't subscribed yet, or haven't supported the channel yet, um, you can actively participate in reaching this goal. It's like a Kickstarter, Give me 200 subs. And if we get to 200 subs, I'll do the next one because it's fun. It keeps me motivated too. It's like a fun thing. So just to make it clear, either 200 subs or 100 comments or 100 likes on this video will guarantee you Chapter 2, Siege of Pale. But we'll start with this one and see if you even like this. I haven't even gotten to the point yet, but those of you who are listening to this part, you're cool with it. You just want to hang out. Just celebrate a little bit. All right. So first of all, now I'm done talking about the channel. First of all, I want to praise the person who has made these PDFs. You can find them by Googling Malazan guides and PDFs, basically. And you'll get a page on Reddit. It's super famous, these guides. And the user who made it is Sun Animander on Twitter. And you see that handle on Reddit as well. And I think it's mostly Sun Animander. These are fantastic, an amazing resource, a behemoth of just a massive piece of work to put all this together, because this person has not only done a companion guide for Guardians of the Moon, there's one for Deadhouse Gates, Memories of Ice, House of Chains, Midnight Tides, Night of Knives by Esselmont, The Bone Hunters, Reaper's Gale, and Toll of Hounds. So it's 8 out of 10 of the Malazan Book of the Fallen and 1 from the Malazan Empire. And I've actually used all of these 5 that you see on the screen, and I've used Night of Knives, and I'm currently using the Bone Hunters one. So I can guarantee you guys this is so worth it. And just to do another shout out and recommendation, this individual also has a Ko-fi page, so you can use this link in the document. That's easy to Google. Just Google Malazan guides and PDFs. You can get to this document. You can get to all this info. So if you feel like supporting this individual too, if you really enjoy these guides, you can do it on Ko-fi, because this is just such a huge piece of work that this person has put together. So I have to take the time and pay this individual respect. I also asked Sun Animander on Reddit for permission to do this kind of video, and permission was given. So thank you. And from me to you, if you ever want to get on my channel or talk to me, or do anything like that and show yourself and talk to people, I'm open to that, because what you have done for the series is fantastic. And I don't think there's any fan content that is this good and this valuable. Oh, I'm probably going to regret saying that, but I don't think so yet, at least. Okay, I might be wrong. There's a lot of good artwork, a lot of good artists out there, okay? Don't be sad. Everyone's really good, okay? You're all amazing, but this is something special, I have to say. So next page is just, overview of the chapters. And like I told you before, we have some levels where you guys can help me unlock new videos in the future. But right now, there's only one promise, one step at a time, and I've given you the terms for Chapter 2, so you know what to do, guys. And then there's a preface, and you can read this if you want to, guys, like, introduction to Steven Erikson himself, the man, the myth, the legend, the creator of Malazan Book of the Fallen, and the co-creator of this world. This I highly disagree with. This is heresy. Malazan. No, Malazan, okay? Shut the fuck up. You can pronounce it however you want, but it's just my opinion. It's just my opinion, okay? Erikson doesn't hold your hand. No info dumps. Yeah, you can read this if you want to. If you're already following this channel and you're into this and you're following this guide, you probably read Guardians of the Moon. I'd say this is mostly for people who maybe just want to re-experience Guardians of the Moon and have a little bit of a hangout with someone who reads Malazan, because I don't know people who read Malazan. I know one guy, he started reading because of me, but if you're like me, you don't have like Malazan readers to talk to, this is a way to hang out, basically, and just relive the chapters from the book again. And I'm gonna start with the first one, and we'll see if it's good. If I like it, if you like it, we'll see. But you can read this, but that's mostly for noobs. And here we also have the creator of these documents, why this person made it. And pretty awesome that I also fell in love with Gardens of the Moon instantly, actually. A lot of people struggle with it, but for me, it was instantly like fell in love with it. And for a lot of people, it's hard to get into the series, but they think it's worth it. So that's why this was made. And this really helps a lot of people. And then there's some commercial for the Malazan podcast and the Malazan Discord. And, you know, I love the community. This podcast didn't really click with me for different reasons, but I really appreciate that it exists. Everything that is Malazan, everything that gets the word out, I love it just for that. It doesn't matter if I click with the content or not, but this is for you guys, you know, who don't know. Check this out in a document. I heavily disagree with this reading order. You can do it if you want to, read the main 10, but I am on my first read, and I think this one is better. I don't care about Boshelin and Corbel Broach. I'll read them later. But put Knight of Knives before 5 and 6. I did that. I'm super happy with that. And I'm probably going to put Crimson Guard and Stonewielder after Toll of the Hounds. That's my conclusion. And, no, sorry. I'm going to put a Crimson Guard and Stonewielder after Reaper's Gale. And then I'm going to take Orb Scepter Throne after Toll of the Hounds. That's my preliminary order right now for the rest of the book. And then I'm going to complete the main 10. And then after that, complete all of the Esselmont Malazan Empire books. So that's my opinion. I am doing the full thing. I'm not only doing the main 10 books. I want to include all those because I am actually reading the books first. Then I read the same chapter in the audiobook. I listen to it. And then I read it in these guides. And doing it that way is like triple reading of the series. It really sinks in. And I think that's kind of reading and rereading it at the same time. So it's like I'm having a double read of the series. That's how it feels, at least. So he gives us a map here, but I think this map sucks, to be honest. The prologue starts here, which is really good, but that map sucked. So what we're going to do is, I actually prepared this for you guys. This map exists. You can fucking Google it. I'm not going to give you details on it because it's too much of a headache and I don't want to mess up the screen. But this is a good map. You see my mouse? Here's Kontali, and here's Malaz City, where the prologue is, if you see the mouse. And the current capital, as of Gardens of the Moon, is Unta, which is here. So maybe I can zoom in. Boom, boom, boom. Here's Malaz City, where the intro is going to be, and the current capital is here. And the first chapter is mostly going to be here as well, in Kontali. But the rest of the book, Gardens of the Moon, is on Genebakis, on this continent, and mostly around this area. So we'll get there. So putting the map away for now and getting back to the documents. So the prologue starts at Mock's Hold, and here we are. So that was the intro part for this, and we're gonna get into things. Welcome to the Talkthrough. Oh, let me do my phrase. Welcome to the realm of pages. I hope you are doing great, and if you're not, I hope you're soon. So here's a prologue. This is the first scene of the book, and this was so confusing for me because I had no idea why I should care about any of this stuff. It was really hard for me to understand the whole situation. Like, I didn't understand jack shit about this shit, so I didn't give a shit. And there's so much nuance and there's so much stuff. So I think this one is like, oh, get back to this scene after Memories of Ice and Knight of Knives, and it'll be much better, much more interesting. But I don't know. I haven't reread it, but I remember when I read it, it sucked. I didn't really care. But what I got is that Lassine or Surly is blue because she's napping. I didn't really understand that Whiskey Jack was the one that Genos Perrin was talking to, but I did know that Perrin was kind of the main character in this scene. That's kind of how it felt, and there's some drama, there's some burning because of sorcery stuff. And that was basically it. Yeah. I thought this was a very unimpressive and not interesting prologue, to be honest. I love Gardens of the Moon, but this one was really like, it was just like running up against the wall. It's like, okay, I hope this gets better, because I promised myself like 50 pages, and I fell in love during those 50 pages. But this prologue was not good at the time. But it was, what was really good was Perrin, because you come back to him later. So I have to give it that. Some pictures from Mock's Hold and the burning. Surly, I don't, what do you guys think? I don't see Surly as that one, but I do kind of see it more similar as that one, Surly, because that one is way too pretty for Surly, and that one is more closer to it, even if it's more cartoonish. So we're getting to book 1, Pale, and chapter 1. These maps are so much more beautiful, also, I have to say. And that's the current capital. Let's see. Itko Khan is where we're going to be. And just to show you the whole thing, that's where the prologue was, in the lower right corner. And right now we're going to go to Itko Khan, but also know that Unta is the capital of the empire. Let's see. Let's fit all of this neatly. I'm just going to try to fit all this neatly in the screen. There we go. So what did I think about this first scene? This is a scene that grows on you, and it makes you wonder, and it actually introduces you to some things that maybe you might not expect, but it was a real cool intro, and this is one scene that I underestimated when it happened. It was very dramatic. It was very like weird and scary and dramatic, but I kind of didn't understand a lot until I moved along with the book. And this is probably also one that I enjoyed it, but I probably will enjoy it more when I get back to a reread sometime in the future. It's kind of funny that he uses that picture from Sleeping Beauty. But yeah, it was a whole cotillion, it was a whole witch thing, and the witch gets killed, and it seems like the witch kind of possesses this girl, and these two figures emerge, and you have no idea what the heck is happening. 7 hounds are released to go after the army that just passed by, and Shadow Throne and Cotillion that are named talk about vengeance against Lessine. You have no idea what's happening. And I was still like, is this going to be good? And there was quite an ambiguous ending, actually. Like, it's not so bad a thing to be the pawn of a god. And she says prod and pull. I wonder where that is from. Like, so it was really well written, and interesting scene. At this point, I thought the prologue was pretty bad, and I thought the intro was like, okay, you got my attention, I'm interested, but I'm still like, what's gonna happen now, basically. 7 hounds of shadow, 7 doggos, 7 good boys. Are they good boys? No, they're not only boys, they're also girls. And that's a very good girl. Yeah, you know who that is, Apsalar/Sorry. And here we go. This is the actual moment where I fell in love with Malazan. When I read this scene from the perspective of this, the first scene, like first scene, it was actually from the perspective of this like other soldier, this older soldier. Just so fantastic. And it was like watching an awesome movie, and you saw this guy when he was a kid, and now you see him, he is a soldier, but it's not all that glamorous. He's got like the shittiest job. He is investigating a massacre, and the adjunct is there to, and he's 21 years old, and the adjunct is there to, she's there to investigate, and she finds Perrin there because he was there already. There are some mysteries here, and it's really interesting. And this part with Perrin is kind of like a mystery exploration kind of episode. And they follow this trail. This actually goes on for a long time, and they follow this trail and try to find out what the massacre was, like what caused the damage. And this is Lauren with her Otateral sword. And then you get to Itko Khan, and this girl that you understand that it's the same girl from the village that was probably possessed, names herself Sorry and gets recruited to go to Genebakis because she was in Itko Khan, but she's going to Genebakis to be recruited to the army of High-Fist Dujik One Arm, and Genebakis is where the rest of the Guardians of the Moon is gonna be, which is interesting. So, for some reason, this girl once possessed knows that she wants to go there, which is really strange. And this is another take on Sorry. I actually like that one more. There's another one that I like even more, but we all have our tastes. So the mystery investigation stuff continues. I really like these scenes. It was like a weird horror movie, like thriller horror movie, but still fantasy-ish. And this was so well written. I do remember this. And like things crumble. There's not a lot of stuff that happens. There's not any resolution. He doesn't understand a lot of what has happened, but Topper shows up and escorts him back to the capital, Unta. And Topper is a claw, and this is the first time you're introduced to a claw in this way, and they travel back to the imperial capital through the imperial warren. And this was such a cool scene because what I love about this first chapter is that it shows you a lot of different things in a very compressed way, and it's kind of just like casually what happened, but it's so very compressed and it's so exciting and interesting. And you start understanding, okay, these hounds were released, there was this massacre, they are trying to like find answers for it, and he's also using a warren, so you already get to see a warren within a couple of pages. And just hang on for a while. I'm going to bring the book, the Guardians of the Moon book, because I want to read certain parts as well. One moment, it's pretty close. I just want to make sure I don't miss anything, because at this point we have one of my favorite things. Let's see where it was. Just want to make sure that I am here. I made a short video on this. And I want to reread it because this is something that is not in this material. It's not in this PowerPoint, but I am very curious about it. I made a video about it, but I'm also going to mention it here. So when they are in the Imperial Warren, this happens. This is exactly when they go into the Warren. Quote, "No shifting of light marked the passing of hours. A number of times they came upon places where the ash embankments had been disturbed, as if by the passage of something large, shambling, and wide slithery trails led off into the gloom. In one such a place, they found a dark encrusted stain and a scatter of chain links like coins in the dust. Topper examined the scene closely while Perrin watched. And these are in cursive, so he's thinking. Hardly the secure road he'd have me believe. There are strangers here, and they're not friendly. End quote. This scene stuck in my mind. I wonder what this kind of creature was. We never got any like revelations here, but I really wonder, and I love this. I just love this passage, and I'm still wondering, actually. So maybe I missed it. Maybe I haven't. Maybe it's nothing that will come back. Don't spoil it for me if it's a spoiler. But yeah, interesting. So they go through this war, and it's pretty cool. It reminded me of a section of, I think, Skyrim or Oblivion. I don't remember which one of them, but it kind of has a world that looks similar. So that's what I visualize every time I think about the Imperial Warren for some reason. Really cool one. Really cool to have this concept of warrens, and they're not only for magic, but they're also realms in and of themselves. And one thing I also loved was a transition from the Warren to the throne room, because it was like a transition of his horse hooves hitting the mosaics on the ground. I loved that. Let's see if I can find that scene. It was actually a really good one. A really good one. More gravel crunched, only it was not gravel, Perrin saw, but mosaic stones. Topper rolled to his feet with a curse, his eyes flashing as he glared at the lieutenant. So this was the kind of transition from the warren to the throne room, where his horse is kind of, being chaotic, and he realizes it's not gravel, it's the mosaic of the throne room. Such a good intro, and it was like a huge thing how he entered and is in front of Lysine, who's now the Empress, basically. And she remembers him as well from the intro, from the prologue. So I like that, and Topper guides him back. He finds Lorne, and they still have to investigate this stuff. That's supposed to be Topper. I think that's pretty cool artwork. I like that one. Tell me what you guys think about the artwork too, because there are credits here. Oh, there as well, which is really good. So that's why I kind of minimize the window to show the credits when it's due. Let's see if we can. That's a better fit. Yeah, and that's Topper and Perrin once again. I like that one even more, I think, because he looks kind of like, a little more like roguish, like a villainy, which I kind of get that vibe from him. And here is the Imperial Sigil artwork from a fan. And interesting note, because we don't really see the sigil a lot in the series, which is I don't remember it reemerging again, actually, and I'm 7 books in. And that was the investigation part this far, and getting back to the throne room through the Imperial Warren. Perrin goes back to his estates, and you get some history of the noble families that they turned from warriors into like wine merchants, and he's trying to be a soldier now, because he had some feelings about that, maybe not being the best transition, and maybe being a soldier, that's more of his things, because noble families, maybe they're not just supposed to make wine. And there is a house guard named Gamut, which is really interesting at this point, because it's someone you get to know later. It's not a spoiler, because the text in red is like important characters. I forgot to mention this. It's probably in later ones, but yeah, that's good to know. Like, different colors are marked for different reasons. And he sees Tavor as well, or Tavore, and they talk, and they also talk about Felicin, but you don't see her in this scene. And that's how that scene ends. It seems like they kind of have a cold and chilly relationship as well. And I think that was it, guys. So that was the first chapter. Really slow start. You get a feel for what I do here. Like, it's more of a commentary. It's more of what did I think about? What was my subjective experience when I read this? What was it that maybe the person who made this guide missed that I think was important that I'll add? And just some flavor, you know? Giving you all some flavor, my thoughts about the artwork. And also, I want to tell you, this is really, really important. Perrin for me doesn't look exactly that way. He looks like Parn, Parn, from Record of Lodoss War, which is one of my favorite anime/mangas. So Google that, and you'll get my take on him. It's Parn, Parn, from Record of Lodoss War, super famous anime manga. That's just what I see in my head because their names are so similar, and he looks the way I imagine him looking all the time. So really enjoyable, really mellow and chill, much more mellow and chill than I thought. But here, this was the video, guys. This was it. If you enjoyed this, let me know. You know the ways to unlock the next one. It's going to be a little bit more action there, but I wanted to make this special 100 sub video. And if you have any feedback as well, like if you have any ideas for these videos or feedback, or if you just enjoyed it, let me know. You know, if you stuck around for this long, I want to hear from you. So that was it, guys. Once again, thanks to everyone who has ever listened, who has ever viewed, who has ever watched, who has ever liked, who has ever commented. Especially thank you to everyone who has and will subscribe. And take care of yourself, guys. This channel is just getting started. I am delivering things every day for the foreseeable future and have done so for a couple of weeks. You probably noticed that. And let me know what you think about this video. So like, comment, smash those buttons, smash that subscribe button, stay tuned, and you will hear from me soon again. I wish you all a fantastic evening. And one more thank you from the bottom of my heart to you guys with my 7-Up Zero and my wine glass. And once again, cheers also to Sun Animander. Remember to support him. Use the links if you want to. Check out this PDF guide or these guides because there are like 9 of them this far. This is a fantastic fan resource and just a celebration of the series. So that was it, guys. And I'll talk to you again soon. Cheers.